Okay. Hello there. I hope this is working. this is this is my first time going live on LinkedIn. Oh boy, not even sure what I just did now. Uh, ah, so I can see myself. All right. Well, I hope everyone's doing well. Hope you can hear me okay. I guess just let me know in the comments if you can hear me, if you can see me. Oh, great. Hi, Tita. All right. Well, I will give another minute or so for folks to join. Thank you for letting me know that you see me. So, this is my first little impromptu live on LinkedIn, and we'll share it other places. And I had promised myself that I would be, uh, starting these discussions or these little live discussions with you. So I am going to, um, I wanted to make sure I got something in for Women's History Month, and so we're on the very last day of the month, but I made it. And so I really wanted to talk about one of the shows that has, truly blown me away. I make sure I have my popcorn and my wine and I sit back and I relax and I indulge. And that show is Bridgerton. So I don't know how many of you ladies and gents out there have watched it. And I promise I'm not going to give any spoilers for season two. This is really just about, um, just discussing what it was like for the women at that time during Bridgerton. So, of course, I'm fascinated by the fashion and just the beauty of how Shonda Rhimes puts together a program. But I wanted to kind of specifically in this discussion just talk about wealth and women. Okay, obviously it's related to my business, Rebel Rock Wealth. And I just thought it was really fascinating. It's almost like hard to believe, right? That's kind of how society was at that time. Obviously, it wasn't all women because we saw, in the series there was, the woman who had her own, a store, the boutique who made all the dresses and, that type of thing. But the other women in that high society, they really were restricted when it came to certain things. And there's really kind of four categories that I like to talk to, my clients about when it comes to, just money, when you're looking at that holistic view of your money. So we have like the capital generation, right? So it's the capital that you're generating. It's the income. It's your job. It's, your business, that capital that you're generating. Then there's the capital reservation. So your reserves, right? Your savings, the money that you put away for a rainy day or for opportunities in the future. And you have like capital expansion. And that's where we talk about like investments and, growing that money, building and expanding that money that you currently have. And then there's capital preservation, where we're really making sure that we have some type of protection around that money so that we can preserve and keep as much of it as possible. So when I think about the ladies of Bridgerton, I thought about how it was so difficult, really, for the women in that society. I mean, they really weren't allowed to work, right? So the man had the business or whatever he did that brought income to the family, but essentially her role was in the house, right? So there was no income generation for her, um, for the high society ladies. So there's so many restrictions around that, and they weren't even allowed to have their own money, right? It was like questioned if they did. I don't want to allude to something that happened in season two for those who haven't seen it yet, but you do, it does become, you get the realization that not only are women not supposed to have their own money, but if they have, a certain amount, it's almost, eye rolling, right? It's like, why are you working and why do you have your own money? I mean, really, the only way for women to progress in this society was to basically get put on show, right? Kind of walk a runway and hope that a man would marry her. Um, and then her family would have to pay the husband's family or, pay the husband a dowry. And that was her worth, right, at that time. And there's nothing wrong with being, a mother and running a household, but that was really the limitation that they had at that time. And even if we, jump across the sea, because I've also started to watch Gilded Age on HBO, and it's that kind of same time period, and you start to see a little bit of the same thing in, New York. This is, mid to late 1800s, and you start to see the same you know, the same situation, right? Where really women of that society are expected not to really work. And if they work, okay, maybe it can be charity work. But it's all just about how you're perceived and the value that you offer based on, what your father did, really, or, your genes and, the family that you're in. So thankfully, here we are 100 plus years later. We've definitely made progress. Okay. We obviously have women who are business owners and, obviously we're working, we do all kinds of things, but we still know that there's some ways to go, right? It's less than 50 years ago that women in the US were able to, get their own credit card and apply for credit to use towards their own business or for their own self, right? Without having their husband or their father, sign for that. So that's really not that long ago. I mean, I'm less than 50 years, so it was in my lifetime, or in my lifetime, that these changes happened. I'm part of an organization called NABO, National Association of Women Business Owners, and there's some great history on that website, and it's a great organization for those of you women who might be business owners, or even if you're thinking of starting. Great organization to join so you can learn more about it. But of course, we learned that it's still really difficult today for women to be able to get their hands-on capital, whether it's for venture capital or at a lending institution. It's definitely a lot easier for men still than women. So not to say that there aren't any opportunities, but it's still much more of a challenge. So I think what we really see in, from the Bridgerton era to the, that Gilded Age, and even through to today, ladies, we still have a lot of work to do. Okay. And I think it's really important, whether we work for ourselves or not, whether we're a homemaker or not, it's still very important for us to understand money, understand how it works, understand how we can grow it, and most importantly, how we can preserve it and pass it on. So if you have any questions or any thoughts around that, I would love for you to share that. I plan to join you every week on Thursday to have a discussion. Maybe I'll find an article, a current article or a topic that's interesting, but mostly I'd love to be able to answer your questions. I get a lot of great questions from my own clients, and I'll definitely share some of those. But I would also love to hear from you. Hi, Mary. Thank you. I'm starting to see some of the comments come through here. Sorry if I missed some. But yeah, I'd love to hear, questions that you might have, ladies or gents, of course. This episode was just a nod to the women because it's the last day of Women's History Month. But I would love to be able to, talk about some of these topics with you. Any questions that you might have, because that's what I'm here for. I really like to educate people when it comes to money, help them think beyond, what a lot of what we see is advertising and marketing, and it's not really financial education. So I want to make sure you understand the difference between, sort of what may be shown to you in, a nice shiny box versus the reality of, what you're learning. Or if you're not learning, here's a place where you can learn. Okay. So hopefully this was an interesting topic. I just wanted to come on for a few minutes and make sure I could tick that box that I did my first live. But again, I welcome you. I encourage you to leave me any questions, any comments. If you don't want to, leave it publicly, you can, certainly message it to me here on this platform. You can also just visit my website, rebelrockwealth.com, and there you can go to my contacts, send me a message through there. But you can also join our newsletter. I call it the Rebel Letter, but you can just subscribe to my email list and start to get some information that way. Okay. If you'd like to learn more about what I do and how I can help you, you can just visit the website. All right. Yeah. So I can see you definitely need some help. Well, then give me a shout and maybe I can help you. Okay. So I hope you're all doing well, and I look forward to talking to you again next week. Take care. Bye-bye.